For years now, Google's made Chromebooks that cost $1,000 or more. But even though other companies have built premium Chrome OS computers, few companies besides Google made one that expensive. Enter Samsung. At CES this past January, the company showed off the stunning Galaxy Chromebook, a computer that feels like a successor to Google's 2017 Pixelbook. Amenities included gorgeous 4K touch display, a stowable pen, lots of storage and processor power, and a sleek all-metal enclosure. You can't miss it in that bold red color either. On paper, it's a capable and well-designed computer, easily one of the best Chromebooks on the market. But let's ask the same questions we asked with the Pixelbook. Should anyone spend that much money on a Chrome OS device? There are no two ways around it. The Galaxy Chromebook is a head-turner. The metallic red pops like few other laptop colors I've seen over the years. You can also get the laptop in more pedestrian gray, if that's your jam. It's not just the color though. The Galaxy Chromebook's silver metal edge is squared off, not contoured like most laptops. It's near identical to the design of the original Pixelbook, and it helps the computer stand out when it's closed. The Galaxy Chromebook has an intriguing set of ports and features. For starters, you'll notice the standard two USB-C ports, one on each side. Samsung also included a micro SD card slot. I prefer full-size SD, but it's better than nothing. Since the Galaxy Chromebook has a 360-degree hinge, there are two small speakers on the side. There's also a speaker on the underside. The power button is on the side along with a volume rocker, and finally there's a slot for the included stylus, which feels quite similar to those included with Samsung's Chromebook Plus and Chromebook Pro from 2017. The Galaxy Chromebook's 360-degree hinge lets you flip it around and use it as a tablet in a pinch, or prop it up for watching videos. I've never found 360-degree modes very useful. Even though this computer is only 9.9 millimeters thin and weighs about 2.3 pounds, that's still a lot bigger than heavier than my iPad. But it makes for one very compact laptop. It's ever so slightly thinner than the original Pixelbook and much thinner than Google's latest, the Pixelbook Go. While I don't really care about being able to flip the screen around, the Galaxy Chromebook excels as a more traditional laptop. For starters, Samsung absolutely nailed the keyboard here. It's quiet and comfortable, possibly even more so than the Pixelbook Go. It's quickly become one of my favorite computers to type on. It's the same keyboard layout you'll find on most Chromebooks, with one notable exception. There's a fingerprint reader right where the Touch ID sits on MacBooks. Setting up was easy, and once I figured out how it wanted me to position my finger, it was a reliable and fast way to sign in. The trackpad isn't quite as inspired. It's smooth and responsive, but just a little bit too small, particularly in the vertical direction. There's a good amount of space between the edge of the chassis and the top of the keyboard, so I wish Samsung had pushed things up a bit here to make room for a bigger trackpad. But if that were the case, there might not be room for the camera embedded in the keyboard deck. Don't worry, it's not for video chat. Samsung says it's primarily there for taking pictures of a whiteboard in class, for example, or for scanning documents. This requires flipping the screen around so you're in tablet mode, which makes sense, but Chrome OS has never handled quick switching between those two modes very well. The first time I tried it, all the apps I was using crashed. It's not a feature I rely on, but it is there if you need it. When looking at the Galaxy Chromebook screen, the first thing you'll probably think is, wow, those bezels are thin. It's true. Samsung says they're 3.9 millimeters wide, though the top border is slightly thicker to make room for the video chat camera. The second thing you'll probably think is, wow, that bottom bezel is huge. And it is, about an inch thick in fact. Taken as a whole, the three tiny bezels and one big one don't look bad per se, but it really makes me wish the screen extended further down. The Galaxy Chromebook may offer impressive 4K resolution, but the 16:9 aspect ratio lacks too much vertical real estate for me. I pretty much always found myself wishing I could see more of a document, web page, or chat I was in. In happier news, the panel looks excellent. It's the first OLED display on a Chromebook, and the high contrast, bright colors, and deep blacks were all pleasing to my eyes. The 4K resolution makes everything extremely sharp, from websites to photos and movies. Going back to my MacBook Pro was a bit of a drag, although I will say that Samsung's display almost exaggerates colors beyond their natural hues, a common complaint with the company's smartphone displays. The Galaxy Chromebook also has a feature called Ambient EQ, which works like True Tone on Apple displays. It matches the color temperature of the screen to your surroundings, a first for a Chromebook. While the idea is the same as True Tone, Ambient EQ is definitely more aggressive in terms of the adjustments it makes. The color temperature is very warm and yellow, even in rooms where I thought I had pretty neutral light. Naturally, you can turn this feature off, something I'd recommend when working with photos or watching a movie. For now, Samsung is only selling one configuration of the Galaxy Chromebook, which includes a 10th generation Intel Core i5 processor, 8GB of RAM, and 256GB of storage. That's plenty to run just about everything I need in Chrome OS without any issues. That includes multiple browser windows with multiple tabs in each, plus Chrome apps for Google Keep, Todoist, Trello, YouTube Music, TweetDeck, Slack, Hangouts, and Telegram. For those basic needs, the Galaxy Chromebook has more than enough operating power. I never felt like I was pushing things too far when opening more and more tabs, and I also didn't notice any hiccups in music playback. Since the Galaxy Chromebook can flip around and has a built-in pen, I tried a handful of different sketching and note-taking apps. I have no fine art skills, but I could get a sense of how well the pen worked. The good news is that note-taking in Google Keep is near lag-free, which hasn't always been the case. Google's simple built-in Canvas drawing app also performs quite well. As with most other Chromebooks I've used, I still feel features like a 360-degree hinge and a pen are nice to have at best, but hardly essential. My main concern is how the Galaxy Chromebook holds up as a laptop. Its powerful hardware and excellent keyboard ensured it excelled in that department. As I mentioned earlier, it's already one of my favorite computers to type on, despite the lack of vertical screen real estate. Unfortunately, there is one massive problem. The Galaxy Chromebook's battery life is unacceptable. In a test of my basic daily routine, I failed to clear the 4-hour mark multiple times. The best I did was 3 hours and 52 minutes of use before the laptop shut down. When looping an HD movie stored on the laptop's drive, I got 5 hours and 11 minutes before the battery died. The clear cause of this is the notoriously power-hungry 4K display, but that doesn't make it okay. If Samsung was hell-bent on that high resolution, it could have made the Galaxy Chromebook a little bit thicker with a bigger battery, or it could have kept the slim profile and went with a lower resolution. But doing both means that this will not be a reliable workhorse for people who need to spend a lot of time away from a charger. Samsung's latest Chromebook does many things right. It's a delight to type on, it impresses with a very compact design, and the screen looks brilliant. In many ways, it's a clear successor to Google's aging Pixelbook, but for $999, it's almost impossible to forgive that poor battery life, especially given that there are other options for powerful Chromebooks out there. I can accept that a laptop with a 4K display won't last 10 hours, but in 2020, I can't recommend one that doesn't even last 4, especially when there are plenty of well-built Chromebooks that have better batteries and are nearly as capable and stylish for less money.